time it is. They done hunted down over 1,200 illegal immigrants in the Atlanta area. They ass is ready for deportation. A lot of them were criminals. We talk about some of the most severe crimes. Murder, drug possession, drug dealers, all rapists, all of that. They need to get their ass up out of here. I'm sick of it. You know what I'm saying? If you illegal, there's no excuse. You know what I'm saying? And if you teach, that's something different. You was under temporary protective status. That's something totally different. But that's temporary. And that's also temporary. And when they say that time is up and they could dictate when that time is up, then it's up. You feel me? It's not permanent. And that's where people, fall into the misunderstanding. Over 1,200 illegal immigrants of all types of heinous crimes. You see, selling drugs in the United States, being a drug runner for the cartel. You need to get your ass up out of here. If you illegal is illegal. I don't give a goddamn what it is. If your ass going too fast in the United States and they pull you over, motherfucker, you getting a speed ticket. If you jaywalk, jaywalking is illegal. You ain't supposed to jaywalk. And people say, "Oh man, that was so petty." Motherfucker, it's on the books. And if they want to give you the motherfucking ticket for jaywalking, they could give it to you. A lot of times your ass run across the street, you trip, you fall, motherfucker run you over, anything. You know what I'm saying? So it's a reason why they tell you to walk when at the light, motherfucker. But people don't heed nothing. And it be for their own damn benefit. It be for their own damn benefit. And so if you do any goddamn thing illegal in the United States, motherfucker, you gonna pay for it. If they catch up with you, you gonna pay for it. So why should illegal immigrants get away with being in the United States when your black ass or nobody else ass can get away with nothing in the United States? I don't understand that. Yeah, thank you, family. I don't understand that. You know, and so who is championing this shit? The Democrats? Man, listen here. I look at politics in the United States. It been dead, but it been dead because you're bloodthirsty. You trying to rule at all costs. Bloodthirsty, slavery, oppression, whatever the fuck you could do to rule the people. But your political system is so deplorable. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't even, there's no way to, make it better. You can't make this shit better. You had to get rid of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing that y'all have fallen so deep in the chasm of pathetic, behavior, the way y'all act toward one another in the Congress. And you got these so-called Democrats that's full of all type of, outsiders and shit. I'm looking at this shit. The Democratic Party got motherfuckers from all over. So I see what they doing. I see that's that one world order shit that they on. If you watch the Democratic Party, they pushing one, and the Republican Party is pushing white imperial, and both of them is white imperialist. But the Democrats is on that one world order shit. Where you might see the elite of all the nations together, creating this one world ideology, so you gonna see, the Indian, you gonna see the Arab, like you got that motherfucker in New York, man, Dami, whatever is, who's the mayor of New York. Then you got, what's her name, the Somali senator. Then you got that one. What's she? Is she Mexican? The one that's another senator, and they all coming together under this socialist ideology. They let a lot of weirdos into the party. Nah, when you see, you turn on the news, all the newscasters is weirdos and shit. You know, you can't even. I don't even watch the news. Most of that shit, like NBC and all that. For soon as you turn the shit on, it's a weirdo. You know, it's a fucking weirdo. I say, man, what is going on here? You know, and so that's the shit they trying to push the communism, the socialism. That's that one world order shit. You know, just why, you know, and I didn't see, the thing is, I've seen videos on this shit when I was younger. You know, they was already, you know, I was used to watch this one. It's like a one world order video before, or long before any Alex Jones or David Icke and all of that. David Icke still might have been out. He might have been out, but you know, it was called Iron Mountain, and they was talking about that shit. How they don't want no borders. You know what I'm saying? No borders. You know, and then they turn the UN, and you know where they, you know, all the you could see police from other nations over here. You know, they create this one police and shit where you got people from all nations and they form this one police. So the you could, you know, it would override your local police, the state police, and all of that. You had a UN police, you know, and shit. And so they had this one elite government. You know, and you see that shit even in Star Trek and all of that. They had already prophesized this shit. You know what I'm saying? Where you gotta adopt everything, and you know, and everybody get a place. And no, motherfucker, just take your bitch ass back to where you come from. And if that's what you want to do where you come from, then go ahead and do it. You know what I'm saying? So they got an agenda. Now the Republican motherfucker, they just want to rule for they own elite. They don't want to be with the UN. That's why Trump is saying fuck the UN. You know, they both imperialists, but the Democrat is on that slick shit. You know, that one world. They pushing the one world order right now. No borders, defunding the police. You know, and I ain't saying the police shit or nothing. You know, I think we need police. I think we just need to police our own people. That's what I believe. I think people need to go to their own motherfucking communities and police their own people. That's what I believe. And if you want to beat your own people over the head, go right the fuck on head. You know, I don't believe we should, you know, not have police. I just think we need to police our own people. And I believe we would be much more compassionate because we would have to answer to the people. But when you don't have to answer to the people and you answering to the imperialist regime, then they control you and you a puppet for them. So you don't adhere to the outcry of black people in their own community, the shit that you doing, you don't adhere to that. You know, and so we need the police, but that one world order, you could have motherfuckers from a whole nother continent over in your community. So you think it's bad when you know white people right here in the United States is fucking policing your ass. What would happen when you got motherfuckers from over in Asia and over in motherfucking Europe and you know, and even motherfuckers from Africa, you know, who don't give, you know, a lot of times, and when they get them motherfuckers on, you know, they own the team. So don't think they're gonna have no compassion for your motherfucking that. They're gonna do the same shit. They just gonna do it for their own agenda. You know, that's what it is. And so yeah, all of this shit is like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker, the only thing that can save you is black power. I said that not too long ago. White man said, I heard you say black power. We should all be American. If you don't get your aging ass up out of my chat talking crazy, you know what I'm saying? Black power. Y'all about white power. Y'all don't say shit. Y'all got all them goddamn white boys and white women down south flying the Confederate flag. Y'all don't say shit. They flying that motherfucker all over the South. I don't hear you go saying shit about that. You know what I'm saying? But as soon as you hear black power, they ass get scared. Because they know what the outcome of that gonna be. Fight your own wars. Go over there, take you and your sons, and any war you want to start, you finish. Anyway, family, they done locked up over 1,200. I heard they locked up not too long ago. They had about 10,000 in a month or so. Yeah, they had about 10,000 about a month or so. So that was crazy. But anyway, family, Patreon, get over there, support the general. We got over 600 videos that'll blow your mind. You already know what it is. You'll get lost. You'll be binging on General Seti. Also, General Seti, Etsy, One Stop, KingSeti.com. Click the get a video a thumbs up. Do that immediately and share it with your family and friends. And I'll be black. Boom, black power. What did it say? Let me see. I want to say, can you answer this question, please, without shying away from it? What is your nationality? And are you a stateless person? Okay. Now, let's be clear about it. My nationality, where I was born at is the United States. Okay? The United States. A nationality that, our people was not, from conception, was not born into. We didn't have this nationality at first. You see, we did not, wait a minute. Yeah, yeah. So we did not have this nationality at first. And so where you born at now, I don't know what nation you talking about. I know you talking the Moorish thing and this, that, and the third. I don't have no belief in that. Say but they are still Chinese. Well, you talking nationality. Well, I mean wherever black people's at, I could choose a nationality if I'm African. That's racial. You know what I'm saying? That's racial. Now where we came from, we could choose whatever nation in Africa if we wanted to choose a national, and that might be a problem. So I'm not gonna get off into that right now. What black people need to do is create their own nation. We need to create our own nation and get out of these fucking arguments about what nation or this, that, and the third. Fuck everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I feel about it. Because we going to keep arguing and going back. Fuck everybody. We need our own nation. And that way we ain't got to live by nobody else's rules. We can live by our own motherfucking rules. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit because everybody got a problem with blacks in America. I'll say that to be clearer. Blacks in America because we don't get, they say we are American because, yeah, we born here. That don't necessarily mean we get all the rights of a goddamn, of Americans. We don't get all the rights. So we're second class citizens in this nation. We are second class citizens. And anybody don't believe it, turn on the news. You see white people getting beat upside the head like that? Do you see them getting beat up? Yeah, they go to jail, but do they get beat upside the head like black people get beat? No. You know why? Because we second class citizens. They do shit to us that they don't do to themselves. All right? I don't give a fuck about none of that shit you talking about. When that white boy see you, he don't see none of that shit you talking about. He going upside your motherfucking head just like anybody else. You could pull out whatever card you want to pull out. I'm not about to go on and on with you. Because I done seen enough goddamn videos that, you know what I'm saying? So I'm about getting my own nation. I'm tired of I'm not going to appease nobody. Because I'm a rebel. I don't give a fuck about nothing. I'm not appeasing nobody. Period. So I'm a fucking rebel. I believe in what Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, get your own nation. Nationality is a new nation that we can live and create our own constitution and our own rules, and we ain't got to appease nobody. And we could use our own culture as the primary culture. That's the best thing for black. Or go melt off into somebody else's culture. Just because we racially brothers don't mean ethnically brothers and sisters. We might want to live a different way than you, and ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You got black people living all over the fucking world. They live different. They live different. They got their own customs that they live, and ain't nothing wrong with that. And still can be brothers and sisters with other black nations. That's cool. I can respect that. When today people are so up into their own self that when you try to identify and you're not necessarily born in that culture, they want to look down. I don't give a fuck which one of them it is. I don't give a fuck. They want to see you as less than. And I don't give a fuck. Maybe if I had my own culture and a motherfucker came outside, maybe I might be the same way. I don't know. I wouldn't let nobody come in and try to usurp me and my own culture, neither. So I'm not saying that's all a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? So we are in like Dr. John Henry Clark said, we are in a peculiar position because nobody really ever asked us to come home. If that, that's our home, that's where we originally came from. And but nobody really just, say, come on home. We've been, yeah, we talking and shit, but it's not like come on home. Like one of your real brothers and sisters that been gone from home and they know they can come home without no problem and shit. No, that's not what it is. And so I'm not saying don't go home, but it's gonna be the issue. That's how your ass got up over here in the first place. And if you ignore that motherfucking issue, your ass gonna end up somewhere else. Cause that's how you got in this shit in the first motherfucking place. You see what I'm saying? But I'm out of here, family. I'm not about to get off in no more shit. You know I don't identify with that shit. Y'all know I done bust the Moorish thing down. I know what y'all is. Y'all want to keep talking to all that nationalist shit when y'all got all that occult in that shit. Man, get out of here, nigga. Fuck you talking about some nationalism and y'all got all that goddamn literature from them goddamn white occultists and shit. What the fuck is you talking about? The white brotherhood and all of that. Y'all over there with all that Madame Blavatsky and goddamn Rudolf Steiner and all that goddamn Rudolf Steiner and all that bullshit. I ain't got time for that. You could go back home all you want to. I'm saying I'm not telling nobody to go home. But understand you might have a problem. Okay, now if you go over there whistling like motherfucking what's her name, Dorothy, going down the yellow brick road like you about to go up, and that's why motherfuckers go over there, and you find your ass in a peculiar position. You see, because you want to go over there naive. This is a different world than what we living in, nigga. Now you take your silly ass on over there and find out the hard way. I went over there, I had a beautiful time. They would accept me. You know why? Because they know I'm a down ass brother. They already know I got knowledge and ain't nobody gonna play me. Period. But a lot of y'all is naive. Y'all naive here and you gonna be naive there. The motherfuckers that go over there and lose was probably losing over here. You's a loser. And so you take that shit wherever you go. You see what I'm saying? So you can go over there and blend in. We got a culture here. If we can purge our culture here of all the bullshit, you will find that there's a lot of gems in our culture and we do not have to go be nobody. We can be our motherfucking self. But you got to purge the motherfucking bullshit out of the culture, and let the gems shine. I'm with that, and we could still take that wherever we want to go. You feel me? We could take that wherever the fuck we want to go. But I'm for, at this point, I think black people in America need their own motherfucking nation. I do. I do. And then that way you can show motherfuckers and you ain't got to tell a motherfucker nothing. You see? You ain't gonna do nothing. You ain't gonna do nothing. You sound like a fool. Y'all been here, your motherfucking Moore Science Temple been here over 100 motherfucking years. And you niggas still walking around with some motherfucking nationality cards, nigga. What the fuck have you done? You ain't got to talk me to death. Don't tell me nothing about no nationality. Show me cities, nigga. Show me, nigga, banks. I don't want to hear no more about no nationality cards. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't want to hear no more about no nationality cards, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Show me some motherfucking banks, cities that y'all motherfuckers, yeah, y'all done built up. Just do that. Other than that, get the fuck up off of here. I ain't got no time for you, nigga. Yeah, get that nigga up out. You did it before I did it. All right, family, let's move on to General Be Right Black. Let's keep it pumping. Hit that like button, share it with your family and friends. Patreon family, I got all the smoke. Get over there. It's something for you. Okay? You believe me. It's a place for you. And kingseti.com. Make sure y'all get a video a thumbs up. Boom. Black pop.